All right, so 8-1 sounds good. To come on the road in front of 101,000 people, really hard place to play. Like we said all week, they have great players, and you saw a number of those guys show up today, make huge plays for them. Really, we have a really cool group of players to see them come together, and a lot of storylines in there. To go on the road and win, regardless of what their record was. This is a hard place to play. These, in my opinion, if you look at the last few years, they played much better at home than the road. So this was very challenging, and said, we'd like to really get back after a game off of not running great. So 63 carries, 390 yards rushing, against best players high school can provide, is pretty impressive for our guys. Pretty cool day for Q. It is his 19th birthday today, so to come in here and carry the ball 34 times for over 200 yards, pretty special by him.
Questions? Wayne, after that first quarter, the kind of scoring back and forth, the middle part of the second quarter into the third, the defense seemed to kind of maybe figure something out. And what did y'all see, and then what kind of y'all maybe adjust or just get them to figure out?
We got a little more basic, and we're able to stop the run a little better. We did not do that well in the first half or some in the third quarter. Running back is an elite player. Obviously, you can see his speed and runs 10-3. So I thought we did a better job with that, and a little bit of bend don't break going on.
And just after last week and heading into a bye, how big was this for you guys?
It was huge. This would not be a good feeling up here, after a good start to the season of 7-0, and then to go 0-2 and sit in a bye. Byes to me always stink when you lose because you're sitting there and you can't win again. And when you win, it's kind of like, well, good. You watch half the teams lose and you get healthy. So this is coming at a really good time. We are not healthy. We have a lot of banged up players, a lot of them that are playing out there in very limited roles, significant players. So it was great to have some guys step up and made some significant special teams plays. Really good punt there at the end, milking it and putting them back there. And the guys executed a fake field goal fake punt. They ended up getting us a field goal.
Whose call was that fake punt? Was that you? Was that Marty? Was kind of where it come from?
Well, that's me, so I would tell you the same. We didn't make it. I'm not trying to take credit. He's done a great job with designs, just like the onside kick that we got over in the air. But no, I'm not letting them call that and it not work and then have to come up here.
I know it's kind of obvious getting Zach back is good, but what kind of spark did that give to the offense, having more multiplicity in the backfield?
Yeah, he hasn't done very much in practice at all for a couple weeks, and so to be able to do that, and then he had the violent run on the sidelines, was really cool, because that's unusual for a guy coming back from injury, with a knee brace on to run like that. So that was really important and gave Q a little bit of rest. Not a whole lot of it, but that was really big. And this is the third game, 2 SEC games, and the Georgia Tech of over 60 carries in a game. That doesn't happen very often. That's a lot of people doing things right, executing, for almost a 400-yard game rushing.
For Zach being a Texas native, how much did this game mean to him coming back to his home state for the first time since transferring to TCU to be honest?
Yeah, he was excited. Still not 100%. Would have scored on that one run, had he been. But he was excited during the week, but more today. I think this morning he just kind of woke up and fought through the injury, and just kind of walked by me and winked at me, when we were in the locker room getting changed before warm-ups. I'm like, well, I know what that means. He's ready to go today. And so that's a very efficient day. 83 plays with no turnovers. Really good things today.
Heavy in the run game. Was that something y'all saw, or was it just Zach saying he could go give you 2 guys back there?
No, obviously there's schematical parts to it, and they played 3 down in the first series, and then got out of that after that series and went to 4 down, and so then we had to adjust more, some different runs, which took us a little bit. They had a good little run there on defense and did a good job. And again, you got to do things right. You're playing some of the best high school players ever, and the best recruiting class in the history of football over there. So you saw some of them show up today.
Quinchon's over 1,000 yards now. I know we talked a lot about him, but are you surprised at all with how he's sort of handled everything at such a young age?
I am. That's very unusual to turn 19 today and be in A&M and carry the ball 34 times. They're like Derrick Henry carries when he was, winning a Heisman, 3 years older. So, that's really special. And again, taking care of the ball. You got no turnovers amongst all these guys. Number of guys playing hurt, and Jackson's very competitive. He made some really good plays and some scrambles today. And again, there's a couple throws he would like to take back, I'm sure, that could have given us some more explosive passes, but he did a really good job. And you got guys playing a lot of snaps. 83 snaps without penalties, so it's going to be more than that. And the linemen played every one of them, and basically those 4 receivers played 90 of them, 90% of them probably.
As you guys were keeping the pace going, A&M started having a few minor injuries. Would you kind of just make it that stop-start throughout the game?
I'm not going to get very far into it, but you guys saw it, whatever it was. At one point it was 8, I think, defensive injury timeouts, all on defense. So, whatever. It is what it is. There's a way around the rule, and I'm not going to say they did it, but I'm in analytics. What are the analytics of that happening? And then seeing the players like a play or two later back out there.
When you came out on the field after Mingo's touchdown there, what were you trying to communicate with that?
I just didn't want him to call the week before we threw a screen and they called downfield, which totally changed that point of the LSU game, and had spent an hour on the phone with the head officials during the week, how they communicate on the headset, the whole thing. So I'm like, all right, that's behind. He's throwing the flag. The line judge has a headset with him, and he's supposed to tell him it's behind because they said it the other way last time, which they did. They officiated right. They threw it, and then they picked it up after talking, and then they reviewed it just to make it more interesting so he could celebrate again.
You touched on it a little earlier here, but what was your message to the guys after the win heading in now to the break?
Get healthy, take care of yourselves, do a good job with academics, and, you only got 3 regular season games left against, 3 really good teams in the SEC with a lot for stake.
Coach, when there is a kind of war of words between yourself and Coach Fisher and other coaches in the SEC, how does that affect your motivation heading into each week? Is that something that you personally use to kind of push yourself and the team on towards successes like tonight?
Yeah, I don't give you coach speak, so yeah, that's real. Most coaches say say no, but yeah, that's real. When someone attacks you personally and, calls you and my good buddy Coach Saban, that were both clowns, you take that personal. So, glad we won. I guess I can be a clown for Halloween now.
Seemed like you had a couple conversations with maybe an A&M player or two. What was that about?
I'm just having fun with them. Those kids are, highly energetic and like a lot of 5 stars, kind of fun to mess with. So it was all good.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks.